Welcome everybody to my brand new account, and it is insane. I mean, look at that, level 89, almost 15 million player power already. Huge shout out to Larry Lord Gary, who has created this account, and we are now partnered on it. He's handling the PvE, I'm doing the PvP. And as I head into hopefully dominating the PvP scene with this account, I need an actual PvP expert because I'm still pretty new in my return to raid. And before I left the game, Live Arena didn't even exist. So I brought on, some of you probably know him from the channel already or from his amazing videos, HWZ. You ready to see this thing? You haven't checked this account out before, right?
Yeah, man, I'm ready to see what's on it. What's the hype about Fasti? You've hyped it up for me.
Yeah, I did hype it up a lot. I think it will. I think it has a shot to exceed the hype. But you've been on some amazing accounts. You've seen a lot of crazy things. So shall we hop right in and break this down?
Yeah.
You got the tea. We are ready to go. Essentially, this is like, I've shown this account off for polls several times. We made one little day 100 recap video on it. The account is now on day 111. Which is kind of a big difference in day 100. That's 10% more days. And on an account like this, it's progressing like 2 or 3 months a day, probably. So it's pretty cool stuff. Figure let's do a very quick lay of the land so I can introduce you to the account, formally introduce this as my new partnered account for the channel. This will be like my Kraken Live Arena account. And then obviously I have my normal Ballin' on a Budget main account. But I show it to you while I show it to the viewers. And then that'll be 5 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever. Second half of the video. You really are a Live Arena expert. Maybe you want to speak to that quickly, but maybe we can talk about how we focus in on our roster, maybe little masteries we want to key in on, or maybe blessings more likely. How do we go from, starting with 5 or 7 heroes to 10 to 20 when the roster becomes too big, that kind of stuff. But yeah, maybe you want to speak to your Live Arena credentials pretty quickly.
Welcome to the Salty Spittoon. How tough are you?
How tough am I? How tough am I? I had a bowl of nails for breakfast this morning.
Yes, so?
Without any milk.
Right this way. Sorry to keep you waiting.
I wouldn't call myself an expert compared to some of the people that, I've learned from, because those guys are doing, thousands of fights, but yeah, I've done a considerable amount of Live Arena. I've been driving accounts for Live Arena since the season started. And obviously these people trust me to get their account to the final milestone and try to do it efficiently. Spend a considerable amount of time just learning the metas, the various metas and champs to put together. And yeah, I mean, not too many credentials. I'm getting those milestones for these guys. So hopefully they keep asking me every season.
As you often do, I think you're really underselling yourself. You've taken over so many accounts, driven so many accounts to hit all the final milestones in Live Arena, both for season play and for the Marius missions. And I think there's something to be said about that. There's obviously unbelievable god tier creators for Live Arena like Cruisen or like Big Papa Drock, but they mostly have like their 1 or 2 accounts and it's hyper duper amazing endgame, top 10, top 20 stuff. I think you actually are the perfect choice for the journey because you've done the journey a lot of times. Maybe you haven't reached the total promised land of top 20 in the whole server, but you've got pretty high. And I think you'd be the perfect person to help with that. And I also want to just quickly plug, if anyone wants, you do a lot of like driving takeovers behind the scenes for people if people need to rush a season right or want to rush the Marius missions, and you're pretty freaking fast.
Yeah, I've actually done a ton of that, and I'm glad you mentioned the Marius missions because I totally forgot about those. But I did a considerable amount of 40 win, Live Arena missions for people. Driving Chimera week to week. I have a couple people that I've run their Chimera every week just because they don't either have the time or they would actually want to get the max score instead of just putting it on auto and getting what they could get. So I do a considerable amount of takeovers, a considerable amount of driving. I do a bit of coaching on Sundays as well, where we just do one-on-one calls with people. But I do all of that stuff.
You're always very humble, so I have to make sure to hype you up. Shall we head into this account and can I show you all the fun stuff?
Man, it's already looking fun.
So I figured we could start here with the mythical collection. This account has every single mythical except for the ones you can't pull, and then Nell. So yeah, we actually have every pullable mythical on this account except for Nell. Nell is obviously amazing. I was loving Nell. People can go back and watch my mythical tier list with Big Papa Drock on this channel or check it out on my website, fastidious.gg. And I was pretty ready to rate Nell quite high. And Big Power Talk was like, she's good, but she's not meta. And I'd say probably within a couple weeks after us filming that video, she's clearly become meta. I'm sure Jirok would agree, and I know you agree. We just talked about it off camera. So that's a pickup we're hoping to get. But actually, if you look here, the only other units we're missing are Polara, who obviously no one in the game has yet. She was just added at the time of filming this with hard faction trials, though Larry has been maxing hard faction trials every day with this account, which is kind of crazy for day 111. But you only get so many keys a day. And then we're missing Empress and we're missing Carnage. I think Empress is probably the more exciting of the two for this account. But yeah, you can see a lot of good awakenings. The final one besides Nell we were missing was Theodosia, and actually this was a 6-star soul we'd been sitting on for a while, so she's kind of cooking. You'll see a lot of these guys are in a really crazy spot. We are missing some 5-star plus souls, but we got the maxed out Crixia, we got the 5-star on Alaz. Arbice are working out. We got the max out Androck. A lot of good stuff. +4 to Shiro. Not going to be such a PvP thing, but that's always fun to see. And then here's a fun one, which we'll definitely make a whole video about. We do have enough for a +4 cock, but we got to make a video first. You can see we built up all 4 of them. We got to make a video just trolling people in Arena with 4 maxed out roosters.
That's awesome.
Here's your little lay of the land there. Before I show you more champs, maybe I'll just quickly show, and less interesting to you, but to the viewers, I'll just show content progress. And it's basically Larry is really good at PvE. So he played Raid very briefly a couple years ago, but obviously he dove in, in a tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollar way this time. But on top of that, he plays Raid, obviously many, many hours a day. And when he's not playing, it's running in the background. He's got enough auto battles for an entire clan to fight forever. So he doesn't even need to use RSL helper or something like that. Yeah, he's just been cooking. He just beat Amius for the first time on Curse City. He just kind of had neglected that and just been farming that up. He's already rushed the Doom Tower. That's not so impressive for this account, but as high as it can go. So he can just max out Dark Fae. All that stuff, pretty simple. The one thing he is missing, he obviously has 1 key on all the Hydra. It's just getting the total max Hydra Clash. But actually, now that I say that, I think he did just get that last week. So I basically, every inch of PvE, I think, is maxed out for what we have. You know what I think might slow him down? He doesn't always do all his advanced quests. I got to slap him into shape for that. So very often he's just doing the 12 keys, not the 18 keys. And then who knows, right? I don't know if people have tested out on test server stuff. Maybe the last stages of this are shockingly difficult, right?
Yeah, well, I think a big hurdle for, everyone, not me because I prepare for things like this, but, maybe me as well in some spots. But stage 10 is going to be a hurdle for a lot of people, man. The all epic stage.
Oh, yeah.
So even with accounts that are have been spent on pretty heavily, those guys almost never focus on non-essential epics. And so that's going to be a hurdle for a lot of those guys that just overlook the epics, or they feed them to level up their Legos or mythicals. So something to think about there as well. Yeah,
that's a really good shout. I guess the only other thing we could point out, this is now as we transition to PvP. So yeah, basically, it's all maxed here. It really is. But Siege, he's in my clan, in this same clan as my main account, this account. So, we've never lost to Siege, but it takes a while to climb up. So I don't know how to check what tier we're in, but we're still not getting the mythical gear. So that will be that'll be a slight, we'll get a later Lamasu, and then we're going to be hurting on the feral gear a little bit and stuff like that. But yeah, basically, I think that covers the content. Been really good. There's definitely been live arena neglect, which I think could be good for content because it's going to be a bigger climb. But I'll just show you, my live arena is higher than his by actually a pretty considerable margin. I'm at 1900 something. He's at 1500. But yeah, nothing will stop us except for time and physical energy to just sit there and do it when it's active. But a lot of live arena streams are coming. I just want to show you some more champs. We just picked up Shuzen yesterday at the time of filming this. This was one we'd been waiting on forever. We'd been sitting on the 6-star soul. Based on my assessment, I really thought this was the top Void Legendary, maybe period for what we wanted to do, but certainly that we were missing. But you can see we got tons of other good stuff. I'm not going to read every name, but the viewers can look. You can look. I think the only PvPe one that we would be missing, well, obviously Marius, and we're rushing those missions currently. But we do have two Tumegia we're sitting on. And then we are missing Warlord. Aside from that, I don't know if there's any, maybe, I don't know if anything catches your eye. I don't think there's any really Void Legendary PvP unit we're missing besides, empowerments for Taurus or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, nothing you would need. The only thing that like I don't see is like Narcissus, but you
No,
know.
Narcissus. Sorry, it was Warlord and Narcissus. I actually wrote that down on a list. I forgot to pop my list open. Yeah, actually, Larry pulled almost 1,100 summons for a Narcissus progressive and didn't get it. But fortunately,
Ooh.
I've done all this progressive pulling since then, and we haven't missed. We actually got Shuzen in like 400 or 380, so that was awesome. But
Nice. He's got
yeah,
Arathia, the new Void Lego. I just pulled a 5-star soul for her.
when I was pulling for Sifi, I pulled this Arathia, who I misremembered hearing some content creator say she was bad, but she actually I think has a lot of cool potential. So I must have been thinking of another unit. But yeah, that was a cool pickup. You know who he doesn't have? Who I have? I don't know if you saw my video. I
Oh,
pulled Neve, Naomi, however you want to say it, the new girl.
oh,
She's
yeah.
she's been god tier for me. I think for this account, she'd be good on go second, but not good enough because there's some weird mechanics with triggering the block damage. But yeah, that'd be one that'd be cool to pick up. But that's kind of the thing with this account. There's so many mythical options. I'll show you the non-void non-mythicals. There's so many other options too. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, that's an amazing PvP hero. Sure, but are they like god tier, you know? Like we have a +4 and a +2 Armons. Like, are they gonna swap in ahead of that kind of stuff? But I think you kind of got the lay of the land here. I really don't know what else to tell you that we're missing. We were missing a couple things like a Rodos. We were missing a Sifi. We were missing a Shuzen, and we picked them all up in the past 2 or 3 weeks, maybe actually even less than 2 weeks. But yeah, that's
Nice.
kind of the situation. So any questions just about where the account's at, any champs you want to make sure we have, or should we hop into the second half of this video, which is the live arena, changing our mindset? How should we think about, gearing these guys, blessing these guys, mastering these guys? But also, I think the key thing that's pretty uniquely interesting, when you have a roster this developed, how many do you build first? And like, how, as you get deeper,
Right.
what are the points where you start adding units to the bench that you might pull off,
Right. So I think yeah, we can go ahead and definitely push forward. Considering the count is only in Silver 2 live arena, I don't think too many things are going to matter when it comes to this roster. A lot of wiggle room there to just throw in anything with like Siegfried or any of those mythicals for that matter.
Yeah.
Interested to see, because it is a newer account, which means it hasn't done a ton of Hydra. So the stone skin is a thing that you're definitely going to want to be getting as much of. But I'm interested to see, just what those builds look like. I don't even need to see the stats. Just want to see what combo of sets have been put together. And
yeah, well, I will say,
with.
so everything right now exists as like Larry's moving stuff all around for whatever PvE stuff he wants to do any day. We do a free gear removal, but he's never been lower than 200 million silver as long as I've known this account, at least since day 50
Nice.
plus. So he just moves stuff around constantly. That will change as soon as I haven't done any of my gearing really yet for this account, but we're gonna get like, we'll talk about it in this video, but narrow in on like, I'm thinking those 6 or 7, 8 champs for the initial push towards like higher silver or gold, and then maybe we expand it a little bit, obviously, once we reach gold and people can lock us out and stuff. So yeah, I don't know how much the builds to show off. I mean, we've Larry's farmed pretty aggressively on speed gear. You can see this is pretty, I think 415 or 425 Armon's pretty good for day 111. Obviously that can change as we introduce different kinds of speed boosters on top of him and stuff like that. But yeah, I think you touched on something that I should have mentioned already. So thank you for triggering that in my mind. I was like, Larry, what are you most proud of? And he's like, well, I kind of beat the whole game PvE. And I'm like, yeah, you should be proud of that. And then I was like, what is the most frustrating? What's been the most difficult? And it's all just the time gated stuff, right? So you talked about stone skin, protection gear, stuff like that. That's locked behind Hydra. At day 111, how many Hydras has he been able to do? It's been pretty early on since he's been basically maxing the Hydra, and certainly the past several weeks completely maxing it. But that's nothing compared to you for how long have you been getting this unbelievable stone skin? Years, literally years, right? So there's stuff here, right? There's stuff here for sure. But I mean, this is not even properly filtered all the way, so it's not as much good stuff as you'd imagine. It's fairly limited. Same thing kind of here. Obviously, him just having made his Cursed City push, we're definitely hurting with the Amius stuff. I mean, it is going to come together, but yeah, I mean, that is hard to get the stuff you're looking for, right? And then the key thing, right, or one of the big things that might jump out, actually you can't even see it here because he's never forged any, is lethal. When me and Larry, when he started this last Fastidious account and I started my new Fastidious account, It was right in the middle of a Dark Fae tower rotation, right? We're both in like 3.5 months in. So there was no world, even with this amount of money, you were going to rush it. There was only 10 days left on the tower or something. So he's never had the opportunity to farm lethal. Obviously, that will happen this month. I mean, he should have about, what is it? Just less than 3 weeks to max farm that. But I mean, compared to people that have been doing what would it be? 4 Fae rotations a year for 4 years. It's kind of night and day. So that, and then the final thing with Chimera, that's a little more balanced because it's just newer, but even still we're behind. And like relics, like we're going to be hurting compared to the average account and stuff like that. I mean, this is just, it's just not on the level that some other people, nothing close to what some other people might have with this kind of crack in the account.
But at least he has the chance to have like the most meta comp. He just needs to get the gear up, but he has the chance. That's like the hardest part.
So let's key in here and maybe let's actually just like throw names out and get specific. So you touched on it. I think the initial climb is going to be mindless. When I'm bored, I'll do a little live arena on this account just to feel it out. And I mean, you could pick the stupidest combination. Just pick like Gizmak, Armons, and then Gizmak, Armong, Sigfrind, and then another DPS, like another Gizmak. It doesn't matter because this account's broken, right? It's like people just can't go up against. It's not like a good comp per se, but you lock them out and you bring enough mythical broken DPS with all these crazy things triggering, and you win. But things do get more nuanced. But that's going to be as we climb higher. So who would you key in on? Would you say as like pick 6 or 7? This is going to be carry us to the promised land. I mean, I have my ideas, but I think your ideas are going to be the more interesting.
If I just had to throw 7 at you really quick, quick push, mindless, hit auto, I'm going to go Gizmak first to secure any stone skin. I'm going to go Galathier as our support. I'm going to go Nice for our secondary backup DPS. Sigfrind, also very high win rate DPS. Gallius is very new, but because of the buff, but crazy champ now.
Yeah,
we're gonna start to see him all over the place. And Marichka, is that 6? That's 6. So we get one more. So I'm definitely gonna throw Marichka in there because she is an absolute pest for live arena gold. She's right there next to Senna.
Okay. Yeah, here we go.
And then if I had to pick number 7,
I'll tell you who I'd pick. Just because when you're climbing live arena, it's just pretty easy to lock.
You go Armands, and especially you've got a fast built one. So like who in silver too is going before that.
Yeah, I think just about nobody. Yeah, and then a couple. I think maybe once ever I encountered. We were a little slower, but I did have someone beat us once in speed. But Nice lived, so the fight was over anyway. It's like
exactly.
If anyone that follows Big Papa Drock, he is like the only key guy he feels like he's missing is Nice, and he's always talking about that. And like once you actually use Nice, it's a very, 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 very broken champion. I'm not going to throw the nerf out, but I mean it's pretty freaking broken with Nice. I think so. He saved our ass that one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you say just lean into the couple mythicals. The other reason, maybe you probably were already thinking this, but for viewers, if you're tossing out a comp with 4 or 5 mythicals, like they're gonna quit, which is cool. So that helps speed you up a little bit.
Exactly. Right, and then once you get past 7, right? Let's say we're in gold, right? Let's fast forward to gold. You've got an Odin there, right?
Yeah, we do.
You've also got Fabian, who is an absolute beast as well. You've got the Shuzin, you've got the Queen of Hearts.
I can never find
everything.
Where's Odin?
Everything is here.
Yeah, it is.
So
Odin,
you got your Odin, right? You got Queen of Hearts. You've got a Shuzin. If you really, really want to go first, you want to pair Shuzin with Iyasu, who's also ignoring Stone Skin. There's so many options on this account.
Well, that's the beauty of it, but also the scary thing. It's just such a wealth of choice that you can't build 20 guys or 30 guys. I mean, eventually we will, but for now, especially with our this is something to think about. This is why for viewers also, just for your account, that's a lot more normal, or like my main account, right? The power of gear removal is a lot of us do not have enough good gear to have 30 good champions built, or maybe even 10 good champions built. I know on my account, I've got enough for like 3 to 5, depending on what kind of builds I want to go for. But when you can move the stuff around for free, you're only using 5 at a time anyway, so you're good to go. So on this account, the gear is better than any other day 111 account, but compared to the day 1000, way more than 1000 accounts. Account like yours that is just such beautiful gear. The only shot at competing is making sure you got the most refined, beautiful builds possible, the way normal players would when they're moving gear around for free. That's not a condition here, but we can't build all these amazing options. So that's why we have to kind of refine our list. And hopefully by the time we really need it, we've picked up more and more gear. We only have a couple more minutes here, but we talked about that 6 or 7 or whatever. Any other cheeky shout outs you would think if we want to pop that up to 10 or something? You think already Odin is a cool unit to have in mind, or is he someone more that we're going to need later on?
Odin is OP for the same reasons why Nice is OP. Odin's not a full DPS, but the same reason why Nice is OP, the same reason why Sigfriend is OP. Yeah. Anybody that can do some damage, revive a champ, do some CC, Odin brings all of these things. I see a lot of people using this method. I used it for a while. No DPS, just full CC, bring in Odin. Odin is my DPS. He's a backup reviver for me as well as a CC champ. So, dude, Odin is a pest. Every 8 turns, triggers like clockwork because it's always going to be your DPS on that 8th turn. That's the one that's getting a turn. Block damage will be there waiting for you.
Yeah.
So, Odin for sure. You've already got a solid blessing for him. You want to get that shoes in going, you're gonna really need that Odin aura. So Odin for sure. There's a few other picks you could throw in there, non-mythical. Queen of Hearts, amazing. Shoes in, amazing. Iyasu, like I said before, is amazing against Stone Skin. I know Marishka was in our initial pick, but dude. Amazing.
Yeah, I think those are all awesome shots. And actually, you know what we're gonna have to do as well? I'll put a text overlay earlier in the video. We said we were gonna get into the key masteries, but more important, the key blessings. I think we ran out of time for that today. That will be a future video. People can look out for as well. Yeah, I would think without a doubt. I haven't never reset a single mastery on this account. That obviously will come as I build out these units in the next couple days. But I can't imagine we're gonna run Odin and Brimstone, right?
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Have to change. What would you do? Would you do the commanding presence, or is it?
I actually just switched mine to polymorph recently.
Polymorph, interesting.
I had temp chains on him, but I had to take temp chains off every champ on my account because of Marius.
Wow, because of his passive.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so
if you're buffing at all, pretty much, and you have temp chains, Marius is just going to counterattack you to death, and you just kill yourself every time.
And Marius is an asshole. And let's just throw Marius on the list for when we do get him. Obviously, the grind is grind, but we'll get there. Baby steps, third of the way done. So hopefully, within the next, what do you think's the fastest we could rush Marius on this account? If it's all we do, a month, 2 months, 3 months.
I would say with perfect, I would say maybe 3 months, because once it starts to get to the faction wars wins and waiting for that, and then
that's true.
Clearing all secret rooms in Doom Tower. I think that was that one for Marius, or was that Ramon too? I can't remember. Oh, the live arena. You do have to get the gold live arena, which this account will be fine in. You do have to win a significant amount of live arena.
That'll be fine too. We're gonna be playing a lot of live arena.
He's pushed all the dungeons, the hard dungeons, to 10, right?
Every hard dungeon's on 10, yeah.
So yeah, I think you could push through it. The only thing is just going to be time gated stuff.
Yeah. One thing this account will struggle with less, I think, than a normal account. I know a lot of people get hung up on get these mythical boots or whatever, right? But consistently, this account will have 100,000 energy on it. So it's just all right. I mean, if it takes 5,000 runs, we'll do it, kind of thing. But yeah, perfect, man. Thank you so much. I think you gave us a lot to chew on, and we got a nice little introduction onto the account. As always, I'm always going to ask you for collabs, and you're always welcome here. I just think these are some of the absolute best because, like I said, you're humble, you're modest, but your knowledge is pretty. It's S tier, man. It's top elite stuff. So I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on, H-Dubs. Like I said, guys, if you want to hit up H-Dubs for any account driving, specifically with Arena or pushing this endgame stuff, about as good an option as you're ever going to find in Raid Shadow Legends. So do that. I'll have the links to that in the description, top and comment. If you guys have any other questions for us or anything you want to see specifically on the account or anything you want to praise or roast, make sure you do that. And HWZ, you got any final thoughts for us?
Oh man, thanks for having me. Always a good time, man. And yeah, we definitely probably need 2 more videos just to talk about Live Arena.
Thank you, sir. Thank you guys for watching. If you're not yet playing Raid or you want to start a new account or start over fresh, check out my link in the description, the top and comment. It is the best link in the land for amazing champions. Basically, as soon as you start playing the game, share it with your mother, and we'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.